Hey, welcome back to the podcast. We're here with Michael Lebhar, who has earned over $10 million in sales on Amazon and Walmart, and he has many e-commerce secrets, successes, and failures. He knows how to grow and run a company. Him and his brother Jake founded Lebhar, spawned fitness, and he currently has a company called Engaging.co, which are a group of experts and pioneers empowering those with big ideas to create meaningful, purpose-driven companies. So, Michael, lots of accomplishments. Glad to meet you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. And so, what is your current passion and focus the last 6 months or so? What gets you just excited to jump out of bed in the morning?
Oh, great question. So, I get excited pretty easily about things. But most recently it's really been Walmart.com. So, I founded a couple brands online that really started on Amazon, and we really expanded them to Walmart.com, saw a lot of success with Walmart.com. So we really been diving deep into the Walmart ecosystem and, helping understand how brands and products could really grow a lot on Walmart.com, leveraging Walmart.com to get my brands, my products, as well as my clients' brands and products into stores. So, I've been, it's all been Walmart recently.
Well, fun. You found yourself a new niche. And so as far as Walmart.com goes, like as a buyer, sometimes I find some good deals there that I don't find on Amazon. But then as a seller, I've never sold there. Years ago, I set up on Seller Central and set up all that. And so like, what's that like? Is it kind of a like similar? Is Walmart.com more of like a Amazon copycat, or do they like do anything like way different over there?
Interesting question. Yeah. So Walmart's largest retailer in the world, right? So and they have such a strong brand, and they really for a while it was in store, then they opened up .com for brands that were in store, and then years ago they opened up their marketplace, and over the years they've been really expanding their marketplace capabilities. And in a lot of ways it's similar to Amazon, but it has a lot of advantages that Amazon doesn't have. Like Walmart is, as a seller, if you have a brand and products, like you could just go on their site. It's pretty simple to sign up. There used to be like requirements of you have to sell a certain amount, you have to be present on other platforms. Now it's simpler, the application process. They still want to see that you have a brand and you have products, but it's much simpler to get accepted there. But yeah, it's similar to Amazon in that way, where it's a marketplace. If you have a brand, you have to get accepted, but as long as you get accepted, you can list your products there. And they're bringing tons of customers. They're growing really fast. So it's really cool because it's like how Amazon was like 10 years ago, where it's like really low competition comparatively, a lot of opportunity, and Walmart's investing so much money in really building that up. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I would say like the only a company that could potentially be a real contender to Amazon is Walmart. They have the money to do it, and they're investing in doing it, and it's been succeeding so far. So it's similar in a lot of ways, and it definitely makes a ton of sense because it's the largest growing platform in the marketplace in the US, and it's one of the fastest in the world. So if you want to really expand your brand, it's such an easy way to do it.
Well, fantastic. And that's always a good strategy when there is some new platform, whether it's a social media platform, e-commerce platform, whatever. If there's someone that is new and up and coming, you join that platform because it's less established, less competition, less rules, and you can get your presence established there before it's sort of ruined for everyone or before the good old days are over. So that's fun and exciting. And like stereotypically or historically with Walmart, when you think like 10 or 20 years ago, you used to hear all these horror stories like from like Good to Great and books like that, where there would be like some brand who they'd sell nationally, and then they would do all this work to get on Amazon, and then to get like a physical shelf in a physical Amazon store, and then they would get like millions of orders and not be able to handle it, and then like go out of business. And like they would say things like being on an Amazon shelf in a physical store was like the worst thing that happened to them. But then now with Walmart.com and being able to kind of have that middle ground, it seems like a possible alternative or a way to avoid that sort of thing. And so like when does it make sense to list on Walmart.com versus Amazon? Is this a thing where like, do you sometimes just with these brands you're working with just go on Walmart, or do it in parallel, or like what's your thought process there?
Great question. Yeah. So we're an agency. So the agency we found is called SellCord. So we're a Walmart agency. We're one of their partners. And we work with hundreds of brands, and the way we do it is usually is how we evaluate if it makes sense for brands to launch on Walmart is if you already have you've already developed your product catalog, you have products, you're already selling on another marketplace or channel, whether that's in stores or on a Shopify site, or you're selling on Amazon. There's a few criteria, but almost all the time it makes sense to launch on Walmart Marketplace in some capacity because there's no cost, there's no monthly cost. They have their own fulfillment networks. You could use their own fulfillment networks. You could ship yourself. You get ranked really high in Google because Walmart shows up really high in Google. So like your product can have all this extra visibility, and it's a marketplace. So if you're selling your product on Amazon or your website and you're not selling on a Walmart, oftentimes another seller is going to go sell it because they're able to sell it on the marketplace. So there's a lot of different reasons why it can make sense for a brand. A lot of times brands wanting to get into stores, and the best way to get your products into stores is actually to show success on Walmart Marketplace first, and then they'll actually consider you for in-store placement. So there's a lot of different reasons why Walmart Marketplace could be a good channel for brands. And based on that, there's different ways of how brands will want to approach selling on the marketplace and how to go about it.
Well, exciting. What a time to be alive, right? To be listed on Amazon and be able to like self-ship or use their network to rank highly on Google, and then to get those stats, those numbers, and then leverage that into being in those physical stores just by starting off from already being on Shopify or already being listed on Amazon. And so you've done this several times and have a lot of adventures. And so do you have any like Walmart.com type stories to share with us? Any like successes or failures, or just what sort of exciting things have you been up to as far as working with these brands getting listed on Walmart.com?
Yeah, so we've had some pretty exciting cases. There was one brand that had pretty interesting products and in the home category, and they were only selling on Amazon at the time. We brought their catalog over to Walmart, optimized it correctly for Walmart, launched it on Walmart, and added in within like 6 months we've been able to add in a revenue stream of around $120,000 a month in sales profitably through Walmart, because on other platforms you have to spend so much for customer acquisition. Well, Walmart, the costs are much less because there's way less sellers bidding with you. But one really interesting story is my own brand that we actually launched on Walmart Marketplace. We were able to be successful there, and we got meetings with the Walmart buyers, and now we're actually available nationwide in stores. So and one of my other brands, we're actually in conversations about getting it available in stores. So and there's around a dozen other brands that we manage that we're actually talking to in-store buyers about getting them in stores as well. So that's been really exciting portion of the business. So that's been some interesting successes that we've been able to have during and what's great is there's so little competition on the platform. So as long as you really put the right focus on the platform, understand all the nuances and address it properly, you could be ranked on top of leading nationwide brands just because you're very on top of and understand how to properly do that. So that's what we've been able to do for a lot of products. So that's been a key portion. It's like Walmart has style guides that they put out, and one tip I would give is they have style guides that they put out. I would really look through those style guides and understand how Walmart wants their listings created, optimized, and really by following their playbook, you set yourself up for success.
That's a really good advice right in there is read the manual, right? And there's all these platforms where they want you to be established, they want you to be set up, and they want you to succeed. It's kind of like, I remember when I first learned to drive a car, I was so frustrated, right? With stop signs and traffic lights and turn signals. And then something that was really reassuring was they said that like the DMV or the government, they want you to drive, right? They want you to pay taxes on a car. They want you to pay renewal on a driver's license. So they want you to do these things, but it's frustrating when you're just getting set up and saying, oh, there's all these rules, they're working against me. No, they're actually working for you. They just want you to play by their rules, which doesn't mean you can't stand out and can't be creative, but they say, here's the style guide, here's what we should do. And so to get a better idea of like what sorts of things you list on Walmart and in your kind of retail adventures, like what sort of like categories and type of products have you been working with?
So we manage a lot throughout the consumables category. So supplements, vitamins, a lot of beauty, right? So whether that's skincare, or, a lot of products in those categories, makeup, things like that. One of the strongest categories on Walmart and where we manage a lot in is in home. So whether that's, chairs, tables, beds, couches, things of that nature, ladders, like, we manage a lot in that space. And, we have brands that do tremendous numbers in that space, in the hundreds of millions of dollars a year on Walmart.com. So that's like a really large space, and there's a lot of opportunity there. And we manage some in auto, so like auto accessories. So whether that's car seat covers, windshield wipers, car covers, hubcap, like all those sort of products. So there's a lot that we manage in that category as well.
So all over the place. Well,
All
fun.
over the
And
place.
yeah, and so you can get that kind of variety. You're not just like working on just like one thing every day. You can jump into all these different niches and learn all these different things. And so when you when you all these things that you've seen, I imagine that there are like some do's and don'ts, right? There's the people that kind of struggle and the people that really succeed. Like for example, when you think about Amazon, there are those people that like don't take the customer service seriously or don't keyword optimize, or they really try to make it work in like a category or a product that like the math just doesn't work out. So like what do you think is the difference on Walmart between the haves and the have-nots?
Great question. So I think one of the biggest things is, you know, not addressing it the same way as you would Amazon or another platform. And what a lot of people do is they go onto the platform, they just list their products with the same listings, and then they just kind of set it on autopilot. Walmart is an amazing opportunity. You just have to give it the right attention, and structure the listings the way they're supposed to be, understand the platform, and leverage the tools that it gives you. So I think it's like number one, optimize it properly, but number two is really manage it properly, understand all the key details of it. Really leverage the tools that they give you. They offer you tools in regards to advertising, in regards to promoting your products. There's, in regards to metrics and data. So really understand all that, and you'll be able to be really successful if you really understand the key details.
This is a great strategy. And just like our whole conversation, this is advice that can apply to whatever we're doing, right? Just that whole idea of when you get set up on any kind of marketing platform, don't neglect it. Revisit it every day and just make sure that everything's working and that it's optimized and that you can, keep it going. And you're saying don't treat it like any other platform. And just like how your YouTube setup is not going to be the same way as your Twitter setup. And then you're also saying look at those helpful tools that they provide. Like you're reminding me of like on like when you publish a book on Amazon, they give you all kinds of like templates and extra help. So just like we were saying before, like those tools are there to help you out because they want you to get set up. So look at the tools that the platforms such as Walmart provide you. So this is a lot of fun to think about. And so what would you say if someone out there in podcast land is listening and they're saying, okay, well, Walmart.com sounds like a great idea. Can't I just mess around on my own and figure it out on myself? Like, where do you and your company come in, and how do you help, and how is it way better than them trying to figure it out on their own?
Great question. So, I think for different companies, there's different things that make sense. And we're really a full service agency, so we have ways where we fully manage brands on Walmart for brands. We have sometimes where we just handle certain portions of it. So if you really want to handle listing optimization yourself, but you want an expert in ad management, so like we're able to help in that regard. But Walmart's fast changing, it evolves so quickly, and where we've been able to really support brands is that because we're close partners with Walmart, we manage some of the leading brands. We're able to know the strategies that work best, the tactics that work best, and able to execute efficiently. So that's how we've been able to really provide a lot of value in that regard, as well as we've spent a lot of time and money and years building out software and resources to really help sellers manage their business on Walmart. And we've been releasing some of those products as well that sellers can leverage even if they don't use our agency. So there's really different ways how they can get involved in working with us and how we can help guide them. And yeah, we love working with different types of brands, newer brands, more established brands, and really understanding and crafting strategies. And supporting them with the right team depending on their goals and what they're looking for.
I love it. So you're saying that there's that aspect of the constant learning where this brand, they're focused on the skincare, and maybe they went and learned a little bit about the Walmart or the e-commerce ads, but then that's like they need to get back to what they're good at, and so you do what you're good at, and so that way you're kind of always staying up to date with all of that, and you also probably offer a fresh perspective as far as the listing and the marketing and the advertising that they are like maybe too close to it to see all the time. And that's wonderful to think about. And so in these last few minutes of our conversation here, I want to make sure that we touch on like some of your own like entrepreneurial journey. So do you think, is there something that you would say is either like the secret to your success or just something that you do that makes you stand out from everyone else?
I think, oh, I think something that's really helped me is thinking about things creatively and out of the box, and really thinking about certain area, how to address it creatively, if there are different things that could be done here, what sort of, and really once I figure out those things, really going hard and working really hard to accomplish those, staying focused and working really hard to accomplish those. That's been something, really interesting. And I think, the second thing I would say is just building strong relationships and partnerships, and really giving a lot to those partnerships. And that's those partnerships and those relationships are what help build our company, scale our company, and provide a lot of value to our clients. So that's been a really key part as well. Just really valuing networking and valuing those relationships.
Those are two great pieces of advice. Think outside the box and work really hard at that, and then value those relationships. And I was thinking just this morning how just sometimes I would go to a networking event and I would be like in the lobby or in the hotel bar trying to see who's there. And other people would be like up in their rooms or just kind of, working on their laptops. And it's like, well, why aren't you seeing who you can meet? And likewise, like many times you're making me think that I miss going to live events so much since that's been like dialed back a lot. And when I used to go to live events, if I would be in some city, some town, I would be looking up in my existing network, like, well, who haven't I seen in a while, or who do I know online but not in person? And so that's just a good reminder, because at least for me, it takes like constant reinvigoration of the effort to like keep on doing it, or to block out that little bit of time on social media to see like, well, can I be on social media not just to read and like, but also like who can I reconnect with or who can I support? So two great pieces of advice: think outside the box, and then take those relationships, that networking seriously. And so if someone is excited and energized about the possibilities in front of them as far as e-commerce and Walmart, how do they take the next step here? How do they find out about SellCord and your company, and like what's the website and what do they do next?
Awesome. Yeah. So the website is sellcord.com, SELLCORD.com. You could just fill out the form there. Someone on the team will reach out. We could set up a conversation. You could provide more info on what you're looking for, or just a quick discovery call. So there's a lot we could kind of do there. We also have some content on our site that might be helpful. And yeah, you connect with me on LinkedIn, Michael Lebhar on LinkedIn, and you can message me there as well. And yeah, always interested in discussing and seeing how we potentially help. Even if it's just some quick free advice, like I'm more than happy to provide that.
Fantastic. And sometimes that's just all it takes to start, right? Is you are a little bit curious. You say, I have this e-commerce brand and I want to be listed on Walmart. Didn't even know that was a possibility. Maybe they're on Walmart and they're just struggling and they want to get that more dialed in. So if they can get that conversation started, SELLCORD.com, and then Michael Lebhar on LinkedIn. That's last name LEBHAR.com. Just be curious. Just take that first or next step and get that conversation with Michael and his team started. That way, it does not have to be so difficult moving forward. You can just get on Walmart and be excited at this new selling channel that you can now be listed on. So as we're wrapping up our conversation here, Michael, it's always fun to end on like a real soundbite, right? A clip we can use for social media or something. So does anything come to mind as far as a favorite moral lesson or quote that you just love so much?
Oh, that's a hard one. There's something I have on the back of my wall that it says, I'll actually read it off exactly, but it says, work like hell. You just have to put in 80 to 100 hours, 100-hour weeks. That improves the odds of success, from Elon Musk. And I think something to be said to just, there's so much to do, and if you really put in the focus and put your head down and outwork everybody, you're gonna really, it starts piling up and it starts multiplying. So that's something that I like.
I love it. Fantastic advice. Work like hell. And as you're working like hell to pursue your dreams and build your e-commerce brand, go to sellcord.com and talk to Michael and his team. We will see you there at sellcord.com. And Michael Lebhar, glad to be speaking with you.
Thanks for having me. It was great.